Hello, welcome to Shooting Spitballs. This is the podcast where we drag under the microscope a whole manner of real-world video production scenarios, and then we figure out how to handle them when the unexpected hits on set. My name's Martin from Shot and Strung Films, and after years of shooting in all kinds of tricky situations, I'm here to pass on what I've learnt to new emerging video shooters that are looking for real, honest, practical advice. Advice that's going to help them stay sharp and adapt fast when things take a turn for the worst on set, which they often will do, believe me. Today we welcome back Steve and Graham to the podcast, Seasoned Pros, which is just a nice way of saying they've been doing this since before half the kit was invented. In today's episode, we're talking about shooting on location in a university lecture theatre, complete with the added joy of a sound technician who isn't exactly falling over himself to help. From setups to sound checks and everything in between, let's get into it. Okay, welcome back to another episode of Shooting Spitballs. We have another two new fresh faces in the studio today. We have Graham Hobbs and Steve Taft. I know you both for many years, many moons ago. How are we doing?
We're all good, thanks.
Are you happy to be here?
Delirious.
Ecstatic.
Lovely. So, let's do some intros, shall we? Let's go with you first, Steve.
Okay.
Would you like to tell the viewers and listeners at home or wherever they are a little bit about yourself and your company?
I had to write it down, so I got it right. So this is the really important bit. So if I muck this up, it's not going to go well. Yeah. Can I be a bit quieter in my ears? Sorry. I'm very loud in me. Just want to come just a wee little tick. Oh, there you go. Oh, that's
better.
Yeah, thanks.
Is that smooth?
Yeah, I'm good now. I've been in the industry for over 30 years. The event room continues to offer production services for corporate events, video projects and television studio and location lighting. Some of that support includes productions like BAFTA Red Carpet, Brits Red Carpet, MTV Awards, F175, BBC Glastonbury, The Voice, Masked Singer, Masked Dancer. All those kind of things. The list continues, but that's me. That's what I do.
That is an intro. Very good. Over to you, Graham.
I'm Graham Hobbs, and I'm part of Clockhouse Productions, which was originally established in 1993 in the olden days, as we were talking about. The olden days. And we are essentially a video production company. We have called ourselves different things over the years, new media, digital media, but essentially we produce moving products, videos, animations, motion graphics, and we do that for a lot of different corporate clients and charities. And it's good fun.
Yeah. It's finally good to get you on this podcast because I've been...
It's taken a while.
Yes. But it's good to have you here because I view you as a mini mentor. Because on every shoot I'm on with you, I always learn something, whether I like it or not.
That's true.
Yeah, it always seems to be correcting my bad mistakes. But yeah.
Well, I don't think there's any mistakes as bad.
No, let's not.
Only if you make them twice.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you always learn on your first occasion, don't you? Good. Okay, so we know why we're here.
Mm-hmm.
Should we not mess about? Should we get stuck into our scenario for today?
Is that my cue?
Yeah, Mr. Graham Hobbs, press that button.
Yeah.
All right, that's...
Poor cable management.
It's poor prompting in Midjourney as well.
Bit of a mess.
Who is this guy? So, you've been asked to turn up at a university lecture theatre who are giving a series of talks about climate change. So they've asked you to bring two cameras, one set up at the back next to this very panicky sound guy, sound man, sound technician, audio whiz, whatever, and one camera on the stage looking back to the audience. And you've been speaking with the organisers at the university and they've asked you to bring an XLR cable, male to female, to plug into the sound feed of this guy who works at the university and he also does part-time lecturing as well. Happy?
Mm-hmm.
So there's going to be 3 speakers, all going on one after another, about 45 minutes each, on a lectern just behind his head, which you can't see, unfortunately. So, who would like to go first? How they'd approach this and what kit they'd bring?
First question, are they using the lectern mic or are they being given personals?
I would say they would be using the lectern mic, for sure.
One thing I have learnt is that if you can become as self-sufficient in these scenarios as possible, that will probably offer you the best outcome.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've seen this scenario many times and I've been promised many things and someone's gone, yeah, we can do that. Yeah, just bring a cable, stick it in. And over the years, I've been given so many different things. I've been given loads of pre-fade channels, which is great. So the guy gets off, sits on the front row, guys on stage chatting, just reading it off at the backs, looking good. Got my headphones. I can hear a guy going, do you know what time the coffee break is? Wonder what's for lunch. Oh, I can't believe he's talking about that. He spoke about that last time. So we're getting all the chat.
Okay.
So the sound guy's he's in a different world. He sent us pre-fades. So instantly we're like, well, this isn't not good.
Mm-hmm.
So if I can somehow take myself out of that audio system, I think it is a good thing. But also managing that, I think, on your own can sometimes be difficult, because if you are then mixing your own channels and you're trying to operate 2 cameras at the same time, you're like an octopus man. You go, oh, I've got to get this wide audience turning over, run down the end, get that going, come back.
Yeah.
Right, I'm then managing all the mics myself as well, because you've said, oh, it's okay, we'll do the mics. I'm like, you stick that on, you stick that one on, and I'm headphones on, and I'm right, turn over, do this. There's a lot going on.
Right.
So if you could bring somebody else, that always helps in that situation. But sometimes for these smaller budget things where they just require a man with a camera, that gets difficult. Budgeting. Why do we need this other guy?
So definitely on a I'll call it a normal budget rather than a small budget. Because nothing seems to be anything else other than that. If they had enough nous to say, bring along an XLR cable, that would give me some confidence that they knew what they were talking about.
Yes.
However, if within 5 minutes of turning up, I haven't got a sound signal to the camera position, I'll immediately go and rig a radio mic on the lectern as backup.
Okay.
And there's thousands of examples where that saved me from your situation of chatter or noise, feedback hum.
Or no sound.
Or no sound. Most common being no sound, actually.
Yeah. Where is it?
Because at the start of this particular gig, this guy will be busy sorting out levels, getting rid of ringing, dealing with clients.
He looks very busy.
Because he's at this point of contact. So everybody who walks in the room will come straight to hit that desk and say, oh, can you tell me where the organiser is? Can you tell me where this is?
Can I charge my phone
The camera guy or gal, it will be around setting up angles and whatever and worrying about that. So he's going to have a lot of stuff on his plate at that particular time, and you are right down his priorities. And if the sound comes out immediately down that thing and they're going, yep, that's absolutely fine. How is it for, and they say things like, how is it for level? And you ask for a little bit more because you always need a little bit more. And they do that, then you can say, this is a situation that will probably work fine. But if it doesn't happen immediately, put your backup in place right there and then. And for me, that is a personal mic on a transmitter pack on the lectern.
Okay.
Snaking up the gooseneck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which will annoy them because they don't like the aesthetic of a little clip mic attached to their mic. But it gets you out of trouble.
Yeah. That's good. What if one of the speakers has changed their mind and they want to have a radio mic put on them because they think they're going to go walkabout left to right.
You can never really predict who's going to go walkies anyway.
No, that's true. It's
and
50-50.
Even if they've only got a lectern mic, you'll find somebody who wants to walk will walk.
Yeah.
They'll raise their voice for the first 5 seconds that they're walking around because they appreciate they've got to be a bit louder.
Yeah.
And then they'll just go back to a normal voice and talk to the front row.
That's true.
So, and that will annoy the cameras as well because you've got to follow them and the lighting is only on the lectern. Or
Always.
people walk out of the pool of light. So you've got 2 issues. You've got people walking out of the pool of light that's been set up. And secondly, are they going to be heard? They're not going to be heard. So, yeah, you can rig a personal onto that person.
Mm-hmm.
It's unlikely in a university situation, which is the example you sent us, that they're going to have personal mics on hand.
That's
or
true.
if they are, they're going to be quite, cost-conscious ones and maybe just UHF rather than diversity, which is a sort of dual band system working on higher frequencies. And if it's last minute, they're not going to have tested it.
Yeah.
So we have in the past double mic'd people and let the auditorium take care of their own sound feed, and then for post-production put a second mic on. But then that does confuse people because they think both are being used for the auditorium and they'll start hitting it. Can't hear it. It's because it's for the video afterwards. But you can do it that way. So it's belt and braces, particularly in I won't call it a lower end situation, but a less equipped venue, or with a technician who may be dealing with a kit that's been in service for quite a few years.
Yeah.
Typically in a venue like that, they might even have, one channel on the mixer, with a sticky label on it saying, do not touch, do not adjust this, do not switch this power button off, because various people come in and out of that room or that auditorium, and they need to have it in a sort of safe mode, as it were.
Yeah, sure.
I've had to cheat sometimes with things, internal systems, multi-cores and things not working and breaking, where I've actually, in a panic, had to chuck a radio lav over the PA system to pick up the live sound because the feed either doesn't work, didn't work, can't work, and all those things. And that's sometimes helped me. It's not ideal, but you kind of go, there's no other way of us getting sound out of this system for whatever reason. Something's broken.
Well, I can give you a little tip on that one.
Yeah.
Rather than use, because we've done that, rather than use a lav in front of the speaker, put it inside a pair of headphones and then put some elastic bands around the headphones. Yeah. And then you don't get the noise pollution from outside.
Yeah.
There you go. That's why you're here, Graham.
Yeah.
Love it.
Miking up my headphones.
So when you say the PA system, you mean a speaker?
Yeah, the in-house PA system. It's just the guys go, well, it was working earlier, or it just goes. That's happened before, where I've been in a situation the sound's just disappeared, and then you just look over and go, and the guy's gone. You go, quick, get something, chuck it in front, dial it in, keep going.
You do what you need to in the situation.
Say again?
You do what you need to.
Yeah, you adapt, don't you? Yeah. I feel like we need to introduce some red herrings before we get everything ticked off.
Is your producer friend going to turn up?
The producer from hell?
I like him.
I hope so, yeah.
I've got a picture of him in my head.
I'm going to go straight to you, Steve, seeing as you're so enthusiastic. Are you ready?
Yes.
Actually, this isn't a producer from hell.
Oh, okay.
We'll soon find out.
Is it a client? Else. Is it a lovely client?
Might be this guy.
Ah, wait. That's not going to work. My mixer only takes XLR to 1/4 inch jack. I usually make sure the organizer knows what I need, but there's no time to sort cables now. I'm running late and we've got to get this thing going. I'm sorry, but can you check if there's an adapter or something? I can't deal with this right now.
I'll just carry a box of that everywhere.
Yeah.
A box of?
Everything like that.
Yeah.
I've got a whole tray of all manner of...
Get out of jail free gear.
Over the past 30 years of these kind of things, I've been in a situation before where we've had to interrogate an internal system somewhere, and the only way to make it work is create the longest adaptive thing you've ever can imagine. There's almost like
6 or 7 all joined together.
it's like a foot long. You've ggot, oh God, I need to make this phono cable into.
You have to lift it together.
1/4-inch jack into an XLR, and you just go, oh God, what have you got? I've got a phono cable. It's like, we need to make that XLR. Right, okay, what are we going to do? And literally things come out like that. You go, is it balanced or unbalanced? You go, I don't know anymore. Let's just stick it in and find out. And you stick it into a hole, and it's like this big, and you've gone, it works.
Is this something that you patented?
No. But yeah, I've had to, and that's only by virtue of the fact I've just constantly got a box of all that shenanigans kicking around. You can't, I mean, there's other press things I've been involved in where we've provided audio DAs for camera guys, which I think in these kind of situations that if
a press junket.
Yeah, they're great. You just turn up and there's 12 channels of XLR and it's all been tested and you've labelled everyone up. You go, where are you from? Oh, I'm from Sky, port number 3, Sky guy. And you just stick it in and you're off. There's no argy-bargy. There's no one getting confused about what's what. And it's a really nice way of working. It's a shame that sometimes you have to make it up as you go along with certain places. But I'll stand by that. And I think it's always been fun testing those systems and people turning up and going, the sound's not working. It's not working. You go, no, it is. Yeah. It is. We're in number 4 and there's no sound. Okay, give us a second. I'll look into that for you. And you know that it's just a in-camera audio issue. And you can either helpfully go along and say, I think you might want to flick that switch. And they go, oh, it's working now. It wasn't earlier.
With a bit of gaffer tape on the top of that box that says, yes, it's line level.
Yes,
it's at 0 or minus 12.
Yeah, that. And it's perfect. But that's a nice way of working, if you can.
Cool, okay.
So, I echo that we have the multiple different types of adapters. Yeah. We've even constructed our own pads in cables by taking the little Nutric connectors apart and actually soldering in resistors and things. So we've got a dedicated set of cables that don't need to have that situation where you've got adapters on adapters. So you've always got something that will rest on a tabletop rather than hanging out the back of a mixer.
Yeah.
Because in a situation like this, some of those outputs might actually be behind a piece of black drape.
Sure.
Or something very hard to get to, or can be banged into by a delegate walking past. So one of the things we've got now in the kit is another radio pack transmitter that just sits on a short cable that can then transmit to all the camera positions. And that's relatively easy to do now that all the radio packs are so cheap. For a couple of grand, you've got a system that can distribute around the room.
I'm going to go straight into yours, Graham. Are you ready? Is it the same sound, man? I can't remember. Here we go.
Hold on a second, mate. You're telling me the signal's too hot? I'm sending a perfect feed. The mixer's meters don't lie. If it's distorted, well, it's got nothing to do with me. Maybe you need to have another look at your camera settings? Yeah, it must be an issue you're in, mate.
Well, I've heard that a few times.
So have I. Yeah.
Probably more times than here's your clean feed, actually. It working.
So let's say you've got an FX6, FS7, FX9, whatever. What should your audio settings on the camera be, just to find out if it's where the problem lies?
If you think you've got a problem, just flip everything to automatic for a while.
Okay. Just
to see whether it is you going mad or is it the feed that's the problem. But I've had a situation where saying to the guy on the desk, this is coming in too hot. Are you giving me a line level or a mic level output? And he said, it's a live desk. It's sort of somewhere between the two.
Oh, I've never heard that before.
And this was somebody who was held in quite high respect in the industry at the time. And I was a bit gobsmacked and thought, well, okay, I'll go and check my settings again then. And eventually over the next hour I worked out, it was getting lower and lower, and I think he realised what he was doing, and yeah, exactly.
Okay, yeah.
But yes, it probably is something as basic as a mic level's coming out, and you're expecting a line level, and you've got your camera set to mic level. So
Okay, yeah.
You know, initially you do have to eliminate your end of the situation first before you go accusing somebody of.
But 9 times out of 10, you should be on line level, shouldn't you? Because you're expecting a line level feed.
Correct.
And like you say, yeah, it's always on like the third or fourth nudge that they manage to miraculously sort it out. And it's not your problem; it's their problem.
I'll tell you what I would do.
Go on.
I've done this a few times, but you can't expect too much. We've already said this guy's probably doing way too much for one person already. But if you've got an external recorder and you just want to take a feed directly from the desk as your backup from this XLR that you're running to wherever, either in the room or from a stage box at the other end, you just ask nicely. I've been on both ends of that. I've been operating an audio desk myself, and you can be very busy in those sort of that first hour of the day, facilitating all the requests and learning what's happening, because sometimes the brief isn't great. And yeah, you can be there and a whole crew turns up. You go, hello, who are you? Oh, we come to film it. You go, oh, no one's told us. Oh, have you got any cables for us? You probably got some spares somewhere, but they're all in the empties, which are not in this theatre because there's nowhere to put them. They're all up the back, and it's all, oh, we can find someone to get some cable out for you. Where do you want it run? And, you know, so I've been on both ends. I've been on the end where I've had to ask politely for someone, I'm very sorry, I don't know if you know or not, but I've come to do this. Can you help? I've got this recorder. Do you mind putting that in? Or have you, you know, can you plug my cable in and I'm going to run it down there? You know, things like that. And so, yeah, I've sort of be mindful of trying to overwork, you know, because I've done that before. I've walked in and gone, would you mind? I've gone, no, it's fine. Stick the Zoom in. We'll get that. And then you've gone in there and pressed record because they're just too busy mixing a live show. And
that would be my fear.
Yeah. You can't rely on that.
You've got a dodgy feed coming to the camera, so you put the recorder in to get a good feed, and then you're not anywhere near that desk to see the little glowing red lamp or the bouncing meters.
Yeah, it's covering all the bases all the time. That's what I said initially, that for most of these things, I'll try and be self-sufficient up until a point, like we said, because you can overload yourself. If you're just a one-man band doing this, you've got to set both cameras running and do all the other stuff. And then if you're taking on the sound as well, there's that break point, isn't there, where you go, well, hang on, this is daft. Yeah. It might require a sound man. But I appreciate from a budget point of view, people say, oh, you don't need to worry about that. Just plug into us. It's almost need to write a caveat in, don't you? Some of these, sometimes I go, and I've been in that situation before where you've had to sort of kind of need in writing that it's not my responsibility, because it isn't. I'm completely reliant on your in-house internal system, your own employee. You know, you can be sitting in post, can't you, and go, well, they can't use any of this. Whose fault is it? And the client goes, oh, we can't use this. The sound's no good.
It might be in a venue like this, there might be some tie lines that have been built into the system when it was built. So, you know, like permanently installed XLR cable under the stage. If somebody says, yeah, just take a feed from tie line number 4, it's down by the front. You're like, oh no, it's not going to work. Absolutely. 99 times out of 6.
7, try 8.
And it worked last year. So we often will take along several XLR cables with us if we're in that situation, because again, we can't rely on that desk being equipped, like you've just said, that, you know, it might be in a different part of the building. But of course, if you're flying to another country with all this bits and pieces, there's a limit to how much you can actually physically take with you. So external recorders, you know, in theory, that desk should be your good source. So I've shied away from that. Plus, it increases for us the post-production time, because you've got to sync up the audio. And inevitably, at some point, particularly during the days of tape, back in the old last century,
1900s,
if that recorder was removed from the tapes, somebody's taking those unedited tapes and going, "There's no audio here." So it's on it's on the 8-track, whatever, you know. So I'm not a fan of external recorders.
What about DJI mics?
What about them?
Could they come into play here? Seeing as there's 3 speakers, and the DJI mics can get you out of jail there, because you can put 2 transmitters on. And then once the first speaker's done, swap it over to the last speaker.
Do these mics amplify to the room, or are these only for post-production?
They don't amplify to the room. The only thing you might get into trouble is the frequency.
Yeah, depending on what.
Or you can just set it to self-record, but then 2 options there.
With some of the lower...
This is just in case, you can't get a feed from this guy.
Try and make these things as clean as possible in regard, if you're using lavs, things like that, doing that sort of interchange between speakers and things like that, it's not great for the video and it's not great for the live show. Mm-hmm. So try and always just get everyone belt and braces before we start, and just let it happen. Because again, if you're on your own, even if there's 2 of you, it just gets really messy really quickly and fumbly and horrible. I think that's why I'm a bit of a fan of sticking things on the lector mic. Using that. But yeah, you've got the wanderers to contend with, who tend to find not only the quietest place to stand away from the lector mic, but the darkest. Yeah. The darkest corner. And then you're like, oh, I'll have to go to high base.
Yeah, 9 times out of 10, the presentation, the screen is always a sort of a white document.
Yeah.
So they're kind of just into the light, out of the light, silhouetted immediately.
Yeah. And
then don't forget as well, if you're running off of an XLR cable, then you're going to need to run that cable and get it gaffer taped down, safely run over doorways, no trip hazards.
Uh-huh. I've done that. So, could you run us? We're really busy. Can you run an audio cable in for us? But we need it at the front of the stage. You go, yeah, we can do that for you. Run it in. It's got to go over 6 doorways. And these guys are turned up 10 minutes before the show started. Yeah. You're frantically trying to do all of that business as well.
Yes, in this situation, I would be sorting out the sound as the first priority, rather than worrying about where the camera is.
Yeah, for sure.
Because the client will come in and change their mind on that anyway.
Uh-huh.
Probably the one at the back of the room will be the one that's taking the feed, because it's less cable to run, and then you're within hitting distance of any problems. But you can glare over with
the death stare.
The death stare. There's nothing on it. So,
is it always a good idea to have in your bag a handheld mic?
No, it's not, because if you get that handheld mic out, the venue will assume that it's part of the setup, and will complicate things when you say this is not rigged into the system.
Yeah.
So keep it out of sight. That's for your video production use only.
Yeah. Okay.
I think it's a valid point about the Q&A, because when you are self-sufficient in that respect, you've got to consider that. I mean, these venues are hard to do that, because a handheld mic doesn't really work when the seating plan's like that, because the guy in the middle wants to ask a question. So it's like, it's kind of, can you pass this along the row? It's like pass a parcel. You go, okay, right. And then
they're halfway through their question.
Yeah, but we don't want it. Yeah, that kind of stuff. But yeah, if you are self-sufficient, that's tricky, because then you, for the video, have to facilitate the Q&A as well, which you, like I said, this handheld's in the bay, and all of a sudden you've got to get, and then there's 2 handhelds? One, just trying to pass all these mics on. That's tricky as well. I've done stuff like this with a boom mic as well. We've got someone with a, because the seating plan is not great for those kind of things, and they really want to get that, and they don't want to. The client doesn't want to waste the time of going, we've got to pass this mic 7 chairs along. We just stick a boom in.
However, if the venue mics fail, and you pull it out of your bag and you're the hero, and the client says, you're wonderful, we'll keep working with you because you've got all these toys in your bag, then that's fair enough.
Yeah.
But don't get it out as a suggestion at the front.
I think Graham's going to turn up like Mary Poppins. Start pulling 12 rung Zargis out and get that going out of my bag. It's the only way though, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
We did have bags like that for a while that had every kind of gaffer clamp in.
Yeah.
It's a Lowell, a very good company, US company, very good for their little gadgets that you could clip little shades onto your side of your lens with bendy arms and things.
Yeah.
What's one bit of audio kit you couldn't do without on a shoot?
Microphone. I don't go anywhere without radio mics now. personals.
Yeah. Headphones second. What's the point of plugging it in if you can't hear it?
Yeah.
Someone's done that before. Oh, did you take some headphones? No. Well, that's why it sounds bad.
Double A's?
Well, you can buy those. Because a lot of our stuff's overseas, so everything that we need to get the job done goes in our carry-on bag. So the cameras, the lenses, the radio mics. If it's too heavy to pick up, you can throw the AA batteries out because you can buy those locally.
Okay.
You might not be able to buy a bizarre little button battery because you need to buy that off of some mail order thing or whatever. But those run-of-the-mill batteries, you can afford not to have in your hand baggage because you can't put them in the cabin, the check-in of the aeroplane, of course, but you buy them locally at a higher price. So,
Yeah, because there's lithium-ion limits, isn't there?
Yes.
For check, so if you've got a load of rechargeable radio battery kits or whatever you're using, then travelling from a lithium, I mean, you've got to carry a hell of a lot of batteries to reach. But you'd be surprised. I mean, certainly with like VLOC limitations and things like that, travelling.
It's 2 per person.
Yeah, adds up.
Yeah, for sure.
So if you're a solo camera person going on a job and you've got VLOCs, you can only have 2 in your hand carry and you can't check any in.
Yeah.
So you give one set to the producer that's going with you, or the sound person you've taken out. Or
are you carrying anything on you that's been packed by somebody else?
Only these 2 funny-looking things with flashy lights on.
Hello. Go on.
You can do one about carnets.
No, in the olden days,
Carnet 101.
That could be a good podcast. Graham.
We did talk about carnets on the last episode. That was one I wanted to get you on, but
in the olden days, we had a battery belt that powered the camera.
Yeah, I remember those.
And
4-pin.
Yep, 4-pin connectors. And they used to get warm when they were wearing for a while.
Hot belt.
But we would take that on. We would check that in
good for cold shoots.
I tell you,
Hot water bowl.
we'd stopped a few times and we actually saw this thing on the X-ray scanner at the airport. And it is basically just a row of huge cells with little wires going between them. It looks
like an ammo belt
it looks
vest.
like a Wile E. Coyote stick of dynamite in rows connected by wires and gaffer tape.
Yeah.
And when you unzipped it, it was physically protected with gaffer tape, so it looked really homemade.
Yeah.
Good fun with that.
Yeah. Back to this shoot. So if you had a mirrorless DSLR camera with 3.5mm, is there any bits of kit you'd recommend?
Good question.
Beach Tech is a brand that a lot of people are aware of.
What's the piece of kit you're referring to? What does it do?
Is it an attenuator?
What are you trying to step? Are you trying to convert this XLR signal to a 3.5mm jack?
Yeah, it's a go-between.
It's a go-between.
So the Beach Tech DXA Max is what I've been looking at today. It screws into the bottom of the camera, 3.5mm jack, and then you can whack your XLR lead into it. And it gives you very nice preamps.
So it's active.
Yeah.
I have looked at similar things which are surprisingly reasonably priced, actually.
Yeah, 150 to 200.
Yeah. I thought, why not just put one of those in the kit?
Yeah.
But the current DSLRs I'm running have got those little funny original equipment manufacturer boxes that clip onto the hot shoe. They've got XLR inputs and they connect through the hot shoe.
Yeah.
And they work for me. And then I'm distributing with my radio mic pack to the other cameras in a multi-camera setup. So they're taking the 3.5mm jack directly from the radio mic receiver into the camera. So get around it that way. Transmit radio wireless.
I've got a GH5 XH1 adapter.
Yeah.
Fancy buying that off me? I've had it just sitting around for years.
Probably.
Sell it when I sell my GH5. Just so you know. But yeah, they're the sort of adapters you're referring to.
Exactly that.
Hot shoe, bang. Yeah. Okay. Have you had any nightmares, Steve?
Martin, I'm constantly having nightmares. I was having a nightmare about today. It's going all right so far, I think. I mucked up the start, but I'm not really worried about that. I think I might have pulled through.
I don't even remember now.
Yeah. Well, Graham was good. It just slipped off the tongue. I had to write mine down. Just so I got it right. Nightmares in generally within production or within this scenario?
Within this scenario, maybe some time that you've rescued a shoot.
Always
going wrong.
In these, like I said at the very start, the promises that get delivered, and it always makes my eyes go a bit squinty. You know, whether that promise is made by the client on the venue's behalf or the venue have made that promise. But I also think that it does depend on what type of venue. There are some amazingly well-equipped venues and theatres within London, you know, that are used regularly by a lot of really good clients, and the crew within those more often than not is very knowledgeable, very, very good, very confident, and can do these things without even thinking about it. You know, so when you do turn up and go, well, have we got a sound feed? They go, yes, mate, there it is, and you know that this venue is constantly turning these things around, and they've used it every day all year. Someone's tapped into that feed, so they're all over it. Yeah. But there is also some other places that I've turned up that are like you've mentioned. It's like, you could try line 4. I think that works. And you're like, no, 5. And you go, we don't tend to use this very often. We haven't used it this year. And you kind of go, that.
You just blow off the dust. Maybe it'll work.
Those kind of things. And where also I've worked in venues where those technicians aren't actually technicians. They are from the IT department. I don't know if you've experienced that. That within the core team of people at these venues, that they're having to sort of spread themselves out a little bit because they can't have the head count. You know, we're not going to employ someone to sit in this theatre all day when we only have like 2 jobs a month in there. So they're basically looking after the IT, but they sort of dabble a little bit. Or do bands at the weekends, mate. Yeah.
Or in a corporate setting, you may have a presentation theatre at a company, and along with 20 meeting rooms, and it's the techie's role to walk around those meeting rooms, sorting people's connections to the projectors, all that sort of stuff. And the presentation theatre may only be used once a week. So they've got their default set up, with a bit of gaffer tape on the thing saying, put it to this level here.
Yeah.
And we had a client, and their mix desk was so ancient and broken with, the dirt on the sliders. They'd never been replaced or cleaned.
Crackle pots.
So we were doing a lot of jobs. So we actually went in one weekend, with their permission, obviously, and we laid our own XLR cable, had to take up all the not suspended, but the raised floor tiles had to come up. And we ran a cable into the room because we knew it was the only way we were going to get a clean feed. Because they're existing, all their tie lines and the radio link didn't work at all. And we were doing so much work for them that it was, we had a little company name on the tag on the end. Yeah. And every time we did a job, we just lift up one particular bit of carpet tile and there was the connector ready. Nice. Pop, and there it goes.
I see also companies invest heavily in Crestron systems or other systems for these types of rooms that make them, try to make them as idiot-proof as possible, so they can effectively send a client into that room and they don't need to manage that client, because they just go, just plug your laptop in there, and then if you want anything, press the control panel. If you want the lights dim, do that. If you want the projector on, do that. If you want the curtains, do that. So they kind of wash their hands and go, you can hire this space, but we're not going to employ anyone to sort of manage that or facilitate any questions or technical issues. Right. And with those systems, sometimes they're amazing systems and they've been programmed great because they can do all these amazing things, but they're living in their own hemisphere. You can't interrogate that system from an audio or video point of view. So things like with these kind of things as well is... probably in post they'll probably want to show the slides full screen, so that's something to think about as well from an audio point of view. So what I've done in the past is, with one of the spare audio channels, if we haven't got a wide enough shot to see when the slides change, that with some queuing systems it sends an audio
a little beep
out, the beeper. So we sometimes, if we're looking at this purely from a sound point of view, I've facilitated that as well, which is great. Because if you haven't got the shot to change the slides, you lay the audio down every time there's a beep, you go, JPEG in there, JPEG in there, JPEG in there. So it's great for post in that respect. But yeah, you don't often find that, which is a bit frustrating.
The little beat, we've done the same thing where we've taken from the, I think it's got a cue prompter, the device in question, take the audio feed onto the spare audio channel. But then in post-production, you've got to work out whether somebody's actually going forwards or backwards, or
True.
If they're running tight for time, I'm just going to miss this next slide out. And they go beep beep.
Yeah, which one are we on?
So
Count the
towards
beeps,
the end of the presentation, it can get a little bit iffy.
This is all wrong.
Or if they've got multiple builds within that slide. I think slide builds in PowerPoint decks should be banned from all live presentations.
Yeah, that screws that up a bit, doesn't it? Yeah.
But the horror story that you asked for, we were doing a job at the Bank of England, and they just refurbished their presentation theatre, and they were assured it was state-of-the-art, super slick. Went in, and it turned out they were still having teething problems, and the audio feed was absolutely riddled with noise. We were 10 minutes away from Kofi Annan from the UN coming to present. That was the whole reason for us being there. And we just said, there was another freelance from, I think, ITN in the room. And we just said, let's just put radios on the lectern. And it was literally 10 feet away. It was a very, very small theatre. But just that saved the day.
Yeah.
But the people in the room couldn't hear him speak.
Mm.
You could see them struggling to hear. But the audio on the camera feeds for post-production was perfect.
Nice. Crystal.
So yeah, belt and braces. Don't believe what you're told.
Very good. Steve, we didn't get your horror story, did we? We sort of went off piste.
Yeah, I said I've been promised feeds and they've not been there, and stage boxes haven't worked, and people have stood in the dark. Okay. People have stood away from lectern microphones. It's all happened. All the things that effectively out of your control. That's why I stand by what I said at the start. As if you can, even to the point of bringing a light, it sounds daft, even just one light on a stand can save the day in a situation like that. If there isn't lighting, or there isn't, it's bad, because I said they found that little spot that even just a light on a stand can just beautiful. Thanks.
What sort of light? And where would that light be?
We used to pack a dado light with a projector on the front of it.
Yeah.
That channels the light down.
Yeah. Anything, any light.
Okay.
Not a panel, really. You want something, a Fresnel, you want something with a lens that you can at least focus.
Flood.
You want some doors in because you don't want any bleed on the screen or anything. You just want something. Maybe if by the time it hits the stage, it only gives you kind of like this much, like 6 foot of light in a box, that they can sort of do something.
Like an elevator shoot quite a lot, can't it?
In those situations, yeah. But then I sort of mentioned about jumping up to high base and things like that. That's,
too much post.
Yeah. Or if you do hit it, you have to just stick it in on the go. That's fun.
A lot of the time we found we were covering for our clients, you might know this from the medical education sector from where I used to work, that a symposium running at a congress has satellite symposia where the access is not possible until your booked slot. So if the company you're working for is, say, at 1 o'clock during the lunch break, so all the existing techies disappear for their lunch. You're in, and you've got to work out what you need to do within 5 minutes. You've got to set up. So you've been there the night before, worked out roughly where the camera can go, and then you find that somebody's left their jacket on the back of that chair, and you can't block off that row, so you've got to move. You've got to get the cable from all within a few minutes. So they've been quite tricky. So it's advanced planning. You're going to need that cable over your shoulder, ready to go. And have hopefully been in the previous day and done a sound check on that one. But that venue is not going to let you put a light up because it's
they're not. Yeah, they're just not. There's no time. There's no time. Nowhere to plug it in.
Because of health and safety considerations, you won't be able to do that.
All right. Thank you, guys. The moral of the story is always have an abundance of adapters in your audio kit.
Failure to prepare is preparing to fail.
Yeah, always have a plan A, B, and C, I guess. Yeah, so you do turn into the hero.
My tip is all those different bits of cables and adapters you take along, put your own sticker on them, because they'll end up in somebody else's kit bag when they see how useful it is. So everything in our kit is smothered in "I own this" labels. So that when you're clearing up at the end of the shoot, you know exactly what's yours and it's not going in somebody else's bag.
Yeah. Okay, guys, thank you very much. Before we go, Graham, where can people find you and your company online?
Clockhouse.co.uk. Or actually, we've changed it now. It's clockhouse.co. We've got rid of the UK part because it's more globally facing. Yeah, .co address.
Oh, that's nice. Socials? Do you have a social presence?
We're increasingly across those. LinkedIn is probably the best bet.
Okay. Clockhouse?
Clockhouse Productions.
Cool. Okay.
Thank you.
You, Steve?
The event room. Did what? No, I need to check that. I can remember the URL. It's theeventroom.co.uk, but it's hyphenated. So the-event-room.co.uk.
Okay.
And on the socials, spend some time on Instagram, not on Facebook for the business.
Yeah.
There's no place for that there. And a little bit of LinkedIn. I have a love-hate relationship with LinkedIn in a weird kind of way. But I'm conscious that you need to exist there and there's some merit in that. So, yeah, that's where you can find me.
Very good. Okay, gents. Yeah, that was a good deep dive. And I hope you found it useful at home if you're ever in this kind of situation, which you undoubtedly will be. Trust me.
Belt and braces.
Belt and braces. Belt and braces. Okay, gents. Hopefully see you guys soon on a future episode.
It's been a pleasure.
It has been indeed.
Thank you very much for having us.
Thank you, guys.
If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, and most importantly, please share it with others, whichever platform you're watching or listening on. If you've got any thoughts, questions, ideas for future episodes, then drop me a comment below or email me at martin@shotandstrungfilms.com.